Safety is still one of the biggest concerns inside salons all over the country. Today, we've got on the show, on the Evo Revo show, John Harms from Millennium Systems International. We're going to talk about safety. We're going to talk about what people are looking for in the industry, all on today's show. Salon owners are some of the most amazing people on planet Earth. The only problem is sometimes their hearts are so big and they give so much of themselves to their staff and guests that it creates unintended consequences. Our goal is to change the industry by elevating the way the rest of the world sees salons, spas, and barbershops and give it the credibility that it truly deserves. This is the Salon Owner Evo Revo Show. Safety is the topic today, Doug. We're going to talk about safety because I think inside salons, man, whether it's the staff, whether it's the guest that's walking through the door, everyone wants to know, how do I stay safe? Am I safe? Is that a place I can be? Because I think that still is a big concern. Yeah, man?
Well, I mean, it's the number one trigger. I mean, it's the thing that's going to set off the drama alarm in any salon right now, whether it's employees, whether it's customers. So I think the better we can handle the safety issue and get people comfortable, I think that's the way we're going to make it in the industry. Got to find ways to get people comfortable with what we're doing and how we're conducting ourselves.
That's right. And by the way, if you're on with us live on the podcast and you can hear us and see us, would you do me a favor? Just message live, John, so I can just make sure that we're rocking the way that we need to. And I want to bring on a guest and friend of ours for a lot of years now, John Harms. John Harms from Millennium Systems International, from Mevo 2. What's up, John?
Hey, what's up, everybody?
Dude, so glad to have you on, John. And I mean, Millennium is like one of the flagship software programs that exists inside the salon and spa industry. How long has Millennium been around for?
I started it when I was 16 years old in my basement. So I'm now 50, so 33-ish. It's been a few days.
That's just a few. And by the way, if you use Millennium, do me a favor and type in Millennium in the chat. If you use Millennium, I'd love to know, because we've got that on. We're not just going to talk about Millennium today. We're going to talk about safety. And I think that's a really big thing. And John, I know you guys within Millennium and Mevo 2 have really done a lot inside that space. But what are you seeing as far as keeping the salon industry safe, just from a 50,000-foot overview perspective? What are some of the things that you're seeing from guests that are really important to them at the moment?
Yeah, I think if I summed it up, it really comes down to the safest thing for a client to use and the safest thing for an employee to use are their own devices, their own phones. So in today's world, who walks around without a phone? So we really spent about 2.5-3 months during COVID stopping some of our roadmap stuff, refocusing and saying we need to solve contactless check-in, contactless payments, e-commerce, all these other different things that are coming up, improve some of the online booking stuff. And I think we've really come full circle in the last 3 or 4 months to deliver those types of things. But if I sum it to your point, 50,000 foot view, nothing more sanitary than someone's own device. And so part of that is a mindset shift in the industry. Yeah. You see the phone, like, off your phone. Like, I think that especially with COVID, that ship has sailed.
Well, let's be clear. I've heard phones are not that sanitary, but at least it's your germs on your own phone. Is that the deal though, right? Like, if it's all up in here, but like I have seen a lot of people that like dodge out. Like, I've been traveling around and I'm like, hey, would you mind taking a photo? And I'm like, oh God, I don't want somebody else touching my phone. Like, at least it's my germs. Like, I carry my own germs with me on my phone. They're mine and I take them very seriously. John, one of the things I've seen, and I don't know, maybe you guys have figured out some ways to do this, but like, we talked about restaurants, and restaurants are really using a lot of like, QR codes inside their restaurant menu. So it's like they used to say like, oh, use disposable menus or, wipe down the menus every time. And some restaurants just have a little QR code just sitting on their table. It's like, here, scan your own menu and use your phone to scroll. Sounds pretty safe to me. What are your thoughts on stuff like that?
So funny little story. For those that don't know, I actually own 4 restaurants, but I don't operate. My focus is software, and it just seemed like a fun thing to own a bar and a restaurant.
Sounds right.
So I do have some firsthand knowledge of this stuff. And so when I went in and they said we went menuless, I'm like, okay. So I'm thinking a website, whatever. They're like, yeah, you just scan that QR code. And I look over at my partner and I'm like, how do you use that? So people think just because I'm a technology guy, I'm more of a I'm a coder, right? But I'm not. as much into technology as I am business growth and development. So
Nice.
they're like, just bring up your camera and point it at that QR code, and then the website pops right up. I'm like, that's amazing, and that technology's been around forever. So, but yeah, it's I think it's cool. I think 9 out of 10 restaurants are doing that now, and again, that's just part of us all just doing a shift. And if you think about it, how much easier is that to add a special or do whatever when you're in that industry, because you don't have to reprint menus and everything. So yeah, the whole world's changing, you know.
Well, and it's interesting too, because I mean, you mentioned like, you're a coder and you're a tech guy and you're a marketing guy. So many salon owners, that's not their jam. Let's be really honest, right? That's not, they're like, look, I got into this to do hair. I love doing hair behind the chair. And then I had to become a business owner. Now I have to become a marketer. Now, crap, John, you're going to make me be a technology expert too. And I have to be a software coder and a web app developer. And like, I got to be an e-commerce expert. Like, Doug, dude, from your perspective, and John, yours too, like how has that really changed the game?
You just got to get up to speed with it. I mean, one thing I think, look for professionals that know how to do it.
Well,
and don't trying to learn a lot of that stuff on your own. I mean, if you want to waste a lot of time and beat your head against the wall, then that's a really good pastime. But I'd say find professionals that can handle those problems with you. And then to John's point, as a business owner, hold them accountable to delivering what you're expecting.
Yeah.
Yeah, we asked salons during this time, and even in our pre-talk, Jason, we talked about how when is in the history of the beauty industry got 2 months to hit pause and really rethink things, really learn their software, really look at their systems and how they're set up and everything else. So to me, this is a perfect time to get that extra education, look at the online videos supplied by educational people like you and the videos that we have for our software, and kind of take it to another level. So I don't know, I hope we never get the chance to have this much time to educate ourselves every day.
I think you gotta adapt the seasons. Like I was listening to this video this morning, and they said, right now it's kind of like we're changing seasons, and you got to change your clothes. You got to update your thing. Like when you go from summer to fall and fall to spring, you got to change some things. I hope we don't get in a situation where like pandemics become a new season that we have, on a regular basis. Like that's not my goal, is to get to a regular frequency of pandemics. I don't think any salon owner, and by the way, if you don't want that, say hell no in the chat, because I definitely don't.
I'll say hell no.
One of the things on there too, I think it's important that kind of touching on here is people taking a look at, there's a lot of our clients in the academy have very little understanding of exactly the power of the software that they're using.
Right.
I think so. We always tell them, it's like, call the company up, ask them, but they're going to give you free. They want you using their tool to the fullest, so that because they want you to run your business as best as possible, so you can afford their product. Right. Like, ask them what they've got and learn. It's like, it's amazing. It's like, oh, I didn't even know it did this. Oh, I didn't even know it did this. I say, well, now during this time, everybody's coming out with more features on their software, so that you don't have to do some of that. You don't have to be.
Yeah, you don't have to do all the heavy lifting. Like there's so many things, and I think one of the pieces for me in my mind that's going on is that, John, there's so many different salons that are out there that like aren't familiar with it. And one of the reasons why we partnered with you for the many years that we have, I mean, I don't know how many years, I feel like it's been 3 or 4 years now that we've been hanging out together, is that you guys are big on education, right? We talked to a lot of other salon softwares out there, and, and I think so many of them are just software providers, and they kind of put their software out there and that's it. And they don't really care about the education. And that's where, like, you and I have been back and forth about this over the last couple of years, is that, that the amount of education given, and we were kind of talking about this, right, is like you doubled down on education during COVID. We doubled down on education during COVID. And we're like, more than ever before, education has become the forefront of what people want. Yeah? Yeah,
absolutely. And back to what you said, I'm I'm a guy that people consider left brain in a right brain industry, but I've done those studies or those quadrants or whatever, and it explains why I can thrive in this industry and listen and understand the industry. Is I'm a drummer, so I am right brain. Musical, I can read music at the same time I can code, and I think that being able to resonate and listen to my customers and the industry, I think has made Millennium great. And then what happens if you go beyond that, to your point of education, my passion is truly helping salons grow. And I think that and spas grow. So that's why we've had so much success. And when people look at our tool, they go, oh my God, you've thought of everything. And quite frankly, I thought of a lot, but most of the cool stuff and the intricate details are because we are good listeners. And I think that's where Millennium and Mevo 2 stand above the competition. They've even talked to me about how they use Millennium and Mevo as their R&D, because they don't truly understand why. They just see that we're doing certain things. And if you don't truly understand the why, you can't educate on how to truly grow your business as well. So I definitely pride our company in that, and I'm very proud of Millennium. It's our legacy product. It's been around since 2000, so 20 years. It's the most awarded system.
That's some legacy, man. 20 years. That's no joke.
20 years. And Mevo is the future, and it's our goal is to continue to add features so that we celebrate what Millennium has been. And most of our users of Millennium have transitioned to the cloud into Mevo. And that's where the future is, and we're super excited about it. But yeah, education is, if you look at my company, there's 200 employees. Do you know how many of those people are salespeople? 8.
Yeah, that's say a lot. Yeah.
The rest of it's support, education, doing the things that allow salons to want to refer us, right? The same thing a salon should do, where what percent of your new clients come from referrals? And if you're seeing that dip, what are you doing wrong? What are you doing right? So same with us, we monitor our client referrals, and you know what? You don't need a huge sales team if you're taking care of the clients you have, and they're out on social saying, hey, Millennium's great, Mevo's great. So so that's it's basic business.
Yeah, John, you're out in New Jersey. I'm in California. Doug's in Florida, and you're in New Jersey. California and New Jersey have been smacked around a lot. Right. I mean, that's just we've kind of taken the brunt of a lot of the backlash due to COVID in the industry and all those other tools. What are some of the things? What's going on in New Jersey right now so that people can understand? We have quite a few clients in the New York and New Jersey area. What's going on out there that you've seen that people are having to adapt to?
Yeah, so they finally opened salons to a reduced capacity. There's no walk-in appointments. We've added software things so people can text when they're, hey, I'm here in the parking lot, and it shows up inside Mevo, and they can respond and say, okay, give us 5 minutes or whatever. Okay, we're ready for you. And it goes directly to the client's cell phone. Yeah. So we've automated check-in, things like that. Have to wear a mask the whole time you're in the salon. I mentioned reduced capacity. Restaurants only just opened up inside for 25% capacity on Friday, so we're way behind everybody else.
We're the same.
Finally, it's opening up. So it's, I think back to what this is really about is the fear part of this. I think the main important thing for a salon is to follow the requirements, but at the same time, when they sit down, we don't want the conversation just to be about COVID. We've all seen enough of it. We're all hearing enough of it. Let's try to get things back to normal. Let's make them feel good about being in that chair, get them to rebook because they just want to come back and feel like they're out and enjoying themselves because they can barely go out to dinner anymore.
Yeah, I think you nailed a topic that we had talked about back a week or so ago, is like, you got to change the dialogue. I mean, I'm sick of talking about it, and we have to talk about it, because I think it's what's going on. But I also think that when customers are sitting down inside that chair, they're looking for something else, right? They want to know that there's something else out there. My wife and I have this discussion all the time because we're in the middle, like we decided right in the middle of all this, we're going to start looking for a new house. We're going to sell our house. We're doing all that. So we just changed topics altogether, right? We just said, let's just change all the topics, because I think sometimes you can get so stuck in that topic, whether it's flipping on the news or anything else, that it just will destroy you if you don't switch topics and get out of it. What's a piece of advice? And John, you may or may not have something on this. What's a piece of advice? And Doug, maybe you can weigh in on this too, man. Is how can you shift the topic from COVID to something else inside the spa? What are some ways you think that could happen?
I think you do exactly what you and I did in the pre-call. You said, hey, before we get on, what's going on at home? How are the kids? Yeah. I see you posting all these videos of you and the kids. And I'm like, oh, Knox is having his first day of preschool today, right after this call. So to me, it's like, talk about, hey, what have you done this summer? And if they talk, oh, COVID, whatever. Oh, hey, but, did you take any road trips? Did you, or there is a lot of positive. I'm seeing my kids more than ever. Because I'm home, working from home. And hey, how is working from home? And there's ways you can turn that, because listen, in the last 5 months, is upsetting as it's been, we've all found that we have more family time. We might be doing some things or just simple board games that we never would have done before with the kids. So I think there's plenty to talk about when to me, the home run, if you know your client, is talk about family and how they're doing and show concern,
Yeah.
Yeah. Cause I think it's people come for the experience as much as they do and the social connection as they do for the service. I mean, I think that's just a big part of it is they want to feel connected. And as a stylist and as a salon, we need to lead them in the most positive. When they leave the salon space, they're feeling positive and uplifted as opposed to more depressed because all we talked about was COVID.
Yeah. Yeah. And that is really a big change in there. And I think it makes a big difference for a lot of people. And being able to do that is just, remember, and Doug, you mentioned this a couple weeks ago, remember that they're still looking for that experience, and the experience inside the salon and spa should feel like an escape. And I think that's kind of going back to the theme of the show, is that if you walk into a salon, spa, barbershop, anything like that, and it doesn't feel safe, it doesn't feel like it's a retreat or a reward or something that makes it feel special, kind of in that space. You know what I mean? And I think there's just great ways to do it. John, any other major things that you're seeing that are helping people feel safe inside the salon space that you're seeing from like interaction standpoint, how they're doing things? What are you seeing on that?
Yeah, I just took my son yesterday for his haircut for school, and he had to wear a little Batman mask, and I let him sit on my lap.
That's awesome.
Well, yeah, it's awesome. So I let him sit on my lap, and we were joking around, and it's actually my vice president of enterprise sales, Bob McConey, his wife, Kathy, their salon. So
that's awesome.
And so Kathy and I just talked about, honestly, just naturally talked about family and positive things. And she's seeing her grandkids finally again, and they were at the pool the other day. So exactly what we talked about. But I think what I will say that is I'm seeing in the industry, and I think anybody listening to this is going to go, which is you opened up, gangbusters, plastered, everybody wants to get in.
Right.
60 days later, your book is starting to dwindle again a little bit. And so what we're seeing is that because people aren't going out as much, they're not going to work, they're working from home, so they're not as in tune to my hair needs to be perfect or whatever that might be.
Yeah, reduction.
So we are seeing a frequency of visit degradation a little bit. So then it really becomes getting back to the core things that you and I talk about, Jason, which is get back to that rebook. Don't let them out of that chair before they leave. They're in a good mood. You just had that great conversation. Hey, let's get you booked. Things are really crazy right now. I want to make sure I get you here in the next 5 weeks. I look like, you're pulling out your phone because Mevo works right on your phone, and you're going, oh, well, look, I can get you in at 10 o'clock on Tuesday, the October 16th, or blah, blah, blah. And get that rebook, because you need the loyal clients that already love you and aren't afraid to come out to keep coming back. And don't let them leave, because guess what? This is a crazy time. That 5-week client will be a 10-week client or more.
Yeah, if you let it, right? I think that's part of it, is if you let it. And I know in California, we opened and then closed, and then now we're reopening. Like literally this week, they just reopened again.
Outside.
Yeah, just bro. I mean, I wish I had a photo I could send into the team. They could put it up for me. But I had the craziest picture of these people, like this nail salon, doing all these nails in the parking lot, and I was just like, how on earth does this even make sense? It's like I have to send it to you guys because it's ridiculous. But I drove by and I was just like, this is insane, especially here where California is now on fire and you have like breathing horrible air, and they're like, outside is definitely better than being inside a salon. It's like this is craziness. But yeah, I think, John, I love what you said about, you said this in the beginning. The best device you could be on is your own. And you mentioned, here it is, the guests pulling up their information on their phone, the stylist bringing up the information they need to have access to on their phone, the front desk only dealing with their computer. It is a personal device economy and culture right now, right? Like it's how do you use and interact with your own device to do that? And it sounds like at Mevo, or with your Mevo 2 Cloud and all this other stuff, that's kind of the situation you guys have built into it, yeah?
Yeah, the self-pay, people are loving that. So clients love it. So what it is the stylist, whether they're on the front desk computer or they just bring up their phone, they can actually add on their retail, maybe even a gift card, whatever they want. And then they just click self-pay. And self-pay knows what the client's email address and phone number is, and it'll text them or email them or both the ability to pay on their own, almost like Venmo or whatever. So they get a link, they click it, comes up, says, here's your tip options, 10%, 15%, 20%, whatever. They click it, they hit pay now, they get a receipt right on their phone, they show the receipt, they walk out the door. People are just loving it. Not only is the salon loving it, but the clients really are pretty impressed that in such short order, the salon, which is, that's using Mevo, really came through with this ability to let them pay without standing in a line next to somebody else, touching credit card machines, and that whole front desk experience. But then what's great there too is now while they're doing their self-pay, that's the rebook discussion right there. Okay, while you do that, so what day's best for you? And it works. We know it works. It's just you need to take that time. You need to make it part of the dialogue during the service so that they realize that you're going to actually ask for the rebook. Because that frequency of visit to me is the only way a salon's going to hit 100% of their goal right now while people are still figuring things out. Average tickets are slightly dropping. So, you need to keep that book full. I have seen salons where they went from 2 months of fully booked to like down 40% in bookings. So you just got to keep it moving and not get, I call it fat and happy that, wow, look, we're so busy, because there's a point where everybody that's been waiting to come in came in, and then that frequency is going to tail off. So just be aware of that and do the things that we've always talked about.
Yeah. And by the way, if you guys think marketing is more important now than ever, do me a favor and type in the word marketing. Because I just think that, to your point, John, is you can get fat and happy. And like, how quick was it? It was like, oh man, this is busier we've ever been. It'll just be like this for, wait a second, where'd everybody go? Like, it literally is like that fast of a change. And that's where we talk about like, what is the consistency? We talked in the academy so much about how do you market when things are down so that when things are up, everybody remembers you. Because, and there's been some salons and some businesses, we talked about this because like, I don't go to a salon that we coach. And the salon that I go to, I had no call, no contact, no anything from that salon during the whole thing. And I'm like, what is going on? We were coaching all of our clients, stay in more communication, have more contact, stay in a higher level of frequency so that when you do open up, you still have that relationship preserved. And that's what it sounds like you guys are doing over at Millennium and with Mevo and all those different tools, is making sure that contact is high. John, any last tips for us on like 2 or 3 things they can do to make sure that they actually recoup all of their lost income if they can? Do you guys have any other fire tips you've been hearing or things you guys are suggesting that would be helpful for people?
Yeah, I think, you brought up marketing. We've got ability to market via text message, which has a 90% open rate within 2 minutes, where email is 3% over a week. So there's definitely some cool things you can do with text marketing. We're building in some new marketing features into Mevo for January. Reputation management. I'm a psycho about brand and reputation management, and everybody should be, especially at this time.
If you're going to be a psycho about something, it might as well be that. Let's be honest.
That's right. I mean, the slightest negativity I see, I attack it, because number one, I'm going to learn from it. Number two, I want to understand it. Sometimes, to the point you made about education, they just don't know the software. So there's an education and a training opportunity there. But so we're actually adding some stuff to Mevo also in January that's going to help salons and spas monitor their relationship, the reputation with 5-star reviews that are out there in Google and Yelp, and that type of stuff. And to me, man, nothing's more important right now than just monitoring that reputation, getting in touch with your clients and staying in touch with your clients, back to the marketing or even the text message marketing. And then just reminding your staff that getting to where they want on average ticket can be $5 to $10 a guest. It can be a conditioning treatment. So you finally get that client out. I'm going to use me as an example. You finally got me out. I'm going into a salon. And if you said to me, for an additional $10, we're going to do this salt scrub, or we're going to do this squeeze melons into your hair, or conditioning treatment, whatever.
I'm going
to sign up.
Got it. Go ahead. Sorry. So I was going to make a joke. I'm refraining. Continue.
So, the $5 to $10 a guest thing to get that average ticket up, get that rebook done, monitor it. What gets monitored gets focused on, and let's, get everybody back to where we want to be. And it's going to take some time, and just try to stay positive with your staff. I think I'm very proud that we've been able to maintain our culture at Millennium during these 5 months of being remote. At the same time, I know there's some stylists that refuse to come back. So there's a lot of complexity out there that businesses are solving. My heart goes out to the salon owner right now. The industry has changed a ton. It continues to change. Some positive, some I think we both agree is negative. And the whole experience that we're talking about now is changing. So, I mean, the industry's always been dynamic, but I don't think it's ever been this dynamic. And
I think I think it's like, how do you adapt? How do you overcome? How do you get to the other side? Go ahead, Doug.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely changed, and it's going to continue to change. But I think the thing, like working with a team, and to John's point of controlling your culture and keeping your culture where it deserves to be, I think that's the way you navigate it. It's like we're big proponents of having leadership teams and working with your leadership team inside the salon to help get their point of view. Because when you try to do it all yourself in your own head as the owner, you're going to struggle. So having a strong leadership team, I think, is key to make sure that you're staying in tune with everything that's going on inside your company.
Yeah, John, real quick, somebody asked Samantha. I was actually speaking at an event in South Africa. I don't know if that's where she saw me yesterday, but I was speaking in South Africa yesterday, clearly via video, not live and in person. But she asked if
private jet.
Yeah, I'm not private jet status yet, John. One day when I get to your level of 200 employees, we'll get there. But until then, feel free to swing by.
When you have 200 employees.
Swing by and pick me up in your jet on the way to South Africa, would you? They asked if Mevo 2 is available in South Africa. They want to know. Is that something that they can get there? Do you have any idea?
Should inquire. Just give us an email at sales@Millennium, SIMILLENNIUM, S as in Sam, millenniumsi.com.
Cool.
Pretty much it's in 20 countries now, but there's only one little tweak on zip code that I need to verify with sales or not, whether we're in South Africa yet or not. But in general, Mevo should work anywhere. It's just there's some things on phone number format and zip code. So once we have that answer, I could answer that question.
Awesome. We'll try and pop you a message, Samantha. Thanks for the question. And John, dude, thanks so much for being on today. I mean, again, I think talking about the safety in the industry, you guys see so many people, thousands and thousands of salons all over the world. I feel like your perspective is always unique. It's always enlightening. And I'm really just grateful to have you on today. So thanks for being here, man.
I appreciate you very much. Thank you guys for having me, and thanks to the industry for putting up with me for 33 years and letting me look smart by being a good listener.
Love it. Well, thanks for being on the show today. Really grateful. Have to have you on again soon, man. And just take care. If you guys have any questions about John or Millennium, do me a favor, drop it in the comments section. We'll have it. If today was helpful and was a valuable show, do me a favor and comment valuable. And that's it for today. Thanks, guys. Thanks, Doug. Thanks John,
guys,
for being here.
Good seeing you, John.
Thanks for listening to the Evo Revo podcast. If you liked today's episode, please subscribe, leave us a review, and you can always get more information, including show notes and the video episodes at evorevopodcast.com.